In the current meta, playing heroes with a high damage output is extremely important because of how much health everyone has. Healing is a lot higher this season, and with the introduction of mauga, any damage that you do that doesn't near enough one tap just feels like a waste of time since it's going to get healed up right away. I know I said one tap, but I don't mean widowmaker or hanzo. Yes, they can be great against the support and DPS, but mauga is all three roles combined. His self-heal is insane and his damage is even more insane. Because of this, we've seen a rise in more people playing Junkrat, which is actually really cool to see. A lot of people say he takes no skill and gets value off of pot shots, which is partially true. But if you want to be a good Junkrat, you need to know what to do and why. And in this video, I'm going to tell you exactly how you can improve your Junkrat gameplay. From balancing your abilities to what playstyle you should take. By the end of this video, you should understand how to play Junkrat more competently. But first, I'm going to ask you to subscribe and leave a like on this video, as I want to continue making Overwatch 2 related content that's not only entertaining, but educational too. First things first, kit breakdown. Because Junkrat is a little bit more than just kaboom. Only a little bit though. His gun fires bouncing explosive projectiles at an arc that can ricochet off walls etc. to get some really interesting kills. He has two main abilities, Concussion Mine, which you can use both as a traversal and a killing ability, as using it on yourself boosts you the opposite of whichever direction it's thrown, and using it on enemies deals a lot of damage and does knockback, allowing you, if you're lucky, to get environmental kills. Steel Trap is, well, I mean, come on, it's kind of obvious. It's a bear trap. It traps people. They can't move when they're trapped. As a passive ability, he can't be damaged by his own explosive and drops bombs on death, meaning that, for example, if a Genji swipes you to secure a kill, he has a high chance of dying too. My first tip for learning how to play Junkrat is to think about your ability placement and usage. You don't want your traps to be obvious and you want to use them to stop your enemy from running away or getting to the objective in the first place. But you don't want to place them out in the open because your enemies will just destroy them. Instead, place them on corners or on the edge of doorways when they're least expecting them, because if they don't see it in the most obvious place, they won't be expecting it literally centimeters from it. The hitbox on trap is actually quite big too, so when it's on corners etc, it'll still snag enemies if they're walking past it, if they're close enough. As for mines, whilst you can stick these to surfaces, I personally wouldn't, because you can just use them to quickly finish off enemies on low health when you run out of ammo. Junkrat only has 5 shots, so it's quite common to see yourself get an enemy really low health and not be able to kill them because you're out of ammo, but that's when you use your mine to secure the kill rather than reloading because it takes too much time in comparison to deploying a mine. My second tip for learning how to play Junkrat is to know what playstyle to take. Now, you actually have two options. You can play aggressively, getting up in your enemy's face and spamming bombs and mines until you get a team kill, or you can play a bit more tactically, taking the high ground and playing in rooms, using the terrain to your advantage because Junkrat is very good in small rooms because of bombs having ricochet, meaning they stay around after being shot, and if you're lucky enough, your enemy will just run into these. You can also try and be stealthy and sneak up on unsuspecting enemies and absolutely destroy them because you do absolutely insane damage. My third tip for learning how to play Junkrat is to know when to use your ult, Riptire. Riptire is great because it's basically a free kill if you use it properly. It's best used to get enemies off of the objective and create space for your teammates to push up into. There's a few times when you should use this. One of the more common ways is to get enemies off of the objective so that you can secure it and win. But you could potentially use it as the enemies are coming out of spawn to make them full reset right off the bat. I know this sounds stupid, but think about it. If it comes down to the last few seconds of the match and they can't get back to the point because they've all been killed at the spawn door by Riptire, then you've won that point. It does sound stupid, but if executed properly, it can work. My fourth and final tip for learning how to play Junkrat is to simply do some aim training. Junkrat doesn't aim like any other DPS heroes, as his bombs fire at an arc rather than straight on, meaning you have to adapt to your gun. The more you look up, the farther your bombs are going to go because you're firing at an arc. This can be a bit disorientating because you're usually not going to be looking directly at enemies if you're playing at a range. But it's fairly easy to adapt to this, it just might take a little bit of practice. The custom game code I use the most is GGSYK, because I think is one of the best aim training custom games out there. You can test both your aim on grounded and aerial heroes in that mode, and it lets you play around with things like damage boost and different levels of movement. Mastering aiming with Junkrat is the first step to mastering Junkrat as a whole. I'll admit, my aim is awful, but people that can actually aim well with Junkrat are scary. That just about does it for this video. It's really cool seeing heroes like Junkrat come back into the limelight because they're so unique. It beats the constant playing Sojourn, Soldier, Bastion, etc. because it actually makes the matches more fun. If I wanted a game where I kept spamming M1, I'd go and play Cookie Clicker, because at least then I'd be having fun. In admittedly one of the worst seasons of this game by far, playing Junkrat is the saving grace and one of the only things keeping my sanity in check. He's actually fun, all of the other heroes feel tedious. Anyways, thanks for watching. Once again, I'm going to ask you to like this video as it lets me know that you find these videos not only to be helpful, but entertaining. Let me know if you have any requests for other heroes in the comments below, and subscribe so you don't miss that guide when it comes out. There are some heroes that I probably won't be able to make a guide on, simply because I don't play them enough, but there are many more heroes on the list that I can make guides on than I can't make guides on. Finally, have a nice day or night if you're watching this at night, and make sure to check out my other videos. Not only will I appreciate it, but you might too.